Hey sportsman, John Bergsman here on site at Nelson Speed Shop just north of Greenville, Michigan. We're set up here in front of a beautiful Angler Quest pontoon, one of several pontoons they've got here on the lot. Hey, we've got 6 awesome reports for you. We're going to start at Lake St. Clair. We're going to go back there because we keep getting reports. Really good multi-species action, including perch fishing. Perch fishing has been going great on Lake St. Clair this year. Then we're going to slide up to Saginaw Bay, more that Tawasaw Gray area of Saginaw Bay. We're going to talk with Captain Mike Parnecki Jr. He's got some awesome fishing going on right there on that northern edge of Saginaw Bay, right there in front of Tawas. A lot of good fish being caught there. Then we're going to slide up to Captain Steve Hubert in Alpena. Some really good fishing going on in Alpena. It's just been lights out, to be quite honest. Slide over. We're going to go to Traverse City region. We're going to talk with Tony DiFilippo about bass fishing. We're also going to talk with Captain Dave Rommel about the big fish that are starting to show up there in the Frankfort area. Big king salmon are starting to show up in good catchable numbers. Drop down to Ludington to Manistee. That's probably the epicenter of the fishing right now on the Great Lakes. State record was caught just a couple of days ago by, that's right, a guest on a charter boat. Just a regular person, just next up, oh, it's your turn, and guess what? Here's the rod 2A. Are you ready for this? Almost 48-pound king. Ridiculous fish. So then we're going to end the day in Holland. Captain Mark Rapson from the Black Pearl has been catching fish regularly for several weeks. Got an awesome report there. Stay tuned. 6 great reports here on Fisherman's Digest. So hey, first report of the day, right out of Lake St. Clair, right off the shipping channel in 16 to 18 feet of water. Brian Wheeler sent us an awesome report. This is a guest report, live off the water this weekend. So he went out just fun fishing for basically anything that bites. Started out the day looking for walleyes and chunking gold Erie Dearies. Now that's a blast from the past, but we're giving it to you straight the way Brian sent it to us. So he was counting down gold Erie Dearies. The second they got to the bottom, a snap rip off the bottom and a slow retrieve in, and guess what? A whole boatload of really beautiful walleyes. You're going to see the pictures going across the screen. And he got bothered a little bit by, that's right, the big smallmouth. So after he got his limit of walleye in the boat, he switched to some green pumpkin Ned rigs, some Strike King green pumpkin Ned rigs, started chucking Ned rigs around and caught a nice group of really healthy smallmouth. And the whole time he was throwing the Erie Dearies or Ned rigs, he had a perch pounder hanging over the side of the boat, and he was fishing with chunks of emeralds right tight to the bottom, or live emeralds, smaller live ones, or chunks of a whole one. And look at that picture of that beautiful cooler of perch. That's what got me on this guest report and why we invited Brian to give it. He had an awesome catch of really nice perch. And that's kind of the way Lake St. Clair has been going this year. You're going out and you just start to fish, and as long as you're fishing on or around that shipping channel area, you're going to run into smallmouth, you're going to run into walleye, and you're going to run into some nice catches of perch. So hey, if you haven't given Lake St. Clair a try, this is as easy as it gets. Get yourself up on the edge of the shipping channel and just look around with your Garmin and until you mark fish, set up spot lock on them, start fishing. Make sure you drop some live bait down. You should be able to have some really good success and a really fun weekend. Hey, and thanks Brian for an awesome guest report. Check out the full line of Polar Kraft Boats at polarkraft.com. Hey guys, Another great report sent to us from this time up on that northern edge of Saginaw Bay, just around the corner from our gray, we got the town of Tawas. Now, Captain Mike Parnecki Jr. Was out and sent a really good report for walleye into us, along with encountering some mixed bag of Lakers as well. Now, Mike's been fishing the walleye bite in that 60 to 80 foot of water area just straight out of Tawas. Now there's been fish holding there for literally weeks, and Mike's been getting them, pulling a really unique presentation of lead core. Now he'll put segments of lead core out from 3 all the way out to 7 colors of lead, and what he'll basically do is just slow harness fish at 1.5 miles an hour, and he'll set a couple of rods out at 3 colors, 4 colors, 5 colors, 6 colors, and 7 colors. You know, you get 2-3 guys in the boat and you can run 10 rods. You can just set those lead out. And believe it or not, even running super slow, whether it's on crawler harnesses or Northland, that Northland, what's it called? That little plastic blade they make. Can you believe I forgot the name of it? A butterfly blade, that's it. And he's been catching them really well. Now, when he runs the butterfly blade, he's been running that with some slow death, a single slow death hook. And when he's harness fishing, then of course you got more hooks. So, you know, your hookups might be a little bit better at that 1.5. He's also encountering some random Lakers. You know, the Lakers are really active this time of the year. And so walleyes and Lakers off of Tawas out there in that 60 to 80 foot depth. Now, Captain Gene Curvin has been also doing well just a little bit north in that Oscoda region, so north of Tawas. There's also a good bite going that Gene tells me is happening on divers and spoons. And that's been a bite that just kind of got going. It was a little bit late this year, to be honest. Normally that bite goes by the 1st of August. Took until pretty much right now for that bite to get going. But it's going now, and that should hold all the way till Labor Day. So if you're looking for something fun to do that's kind of mixed bag orientated, the town of Tawas has really been a really good spot to fish this year. Fish really close by out in that 60 to 80 foot of water.
Make loading and unloading your boat easy with the Drotto Catch and Release Automatic Boat Latch. Load with ease. Simply drive on the trailer and the Drotto will automatically latch to your bow eye. A hard plastic liner protects your boat. For launching, back your boat in, pull the release lever, and away you go. For roller or bunk trailers, the Drotto is quick and easy to install and works with most V-hull boats. Spend less time at the landing and more time fishing. The Drotto Catch and Release Automatic Boat Latch. Online at DrottoProducts.com.
So hey, next bite that's going on is up in the Alpena region. We got 2 different bites going on there. The first bite is Captain Steve Hubert up there around the corner and out from Alpena is the town of Rockport. Out in that deep water outside of Rockport down to Alpena Point, that 100+ foot of water, it seems to be where most of the Lakers have now decided to settle. So how is Steve catching them? Well, he's running a number 12 Dreamweaver Bigfoot. That's a big paddle. It's basically an oversized spin doctor is what it is. And he's running those right now on a big mag spin and glow. Green and yellow is Steve's always color. And the color on his Bigfoot is a white with a kind of an alewife purplish hue crush strip of tape on it. So that big number 12 spin doctor bringing those fish in from deep water to take a look at his sets. Now, on his sets, he's doing really well on mag spoons, either run on coppers or on his divers. Now, his divers has been the best, really deep again, guys. The mag diver, the big number 124 Dreamweaver divers, that's the big size, set on 180 to 260 back on wire. So Steve's fishing deep. He is fishing those 70 to 100 foot fish, trying to draw those up. But they've been very, very willing, he tells me, as you see by the pictures going across the screen. Steve is just whacking fish. It has been lights out all season long there in Alpena. Now, another bite that's going on right now is seasonally, Hubbard Lake starts to produce really good bites of mid-lake suspended walleyes. I got a couple reports last week from guys I know and trust that that bite is starting to go. They had this warm weather is typically what it takes. Is it takes the whole season. Hubbard is such a deep lake. It takes that whole season to warm that lake up. But once it gets warm, those walleyes will go out and set up over that deep water, that 60, 80, 90 foot of water. And they'll be down, who knows, I haven't been there this year, but 20, 25 feet down. And basically you're just running stuff over their heads, guys. It's just trial and error. You're looking at your graph, you're finding groups of bait fish that have arcs in it. You have to make that assumption that those are walleyes, and then you go ahead and fish for those fish. So that's what's happening right now. Hubbard Lake for suspended walleyes, typically using either crankbaits or spinner harnesses, or the Alpena to Rockport region in deep water for big lake trout.
WavePro high-performance boat pedestals eliminate bottoming out and back-jarring impacts. Now available the 2.0 version and slider seat hubs. The best in air shock technology provides a controlled return to keep you on your seat. Fast and easy to install with permanent mounts or movable hubs for quick and easy seat placement in 10 to 16-inch models. WavePro high-performance boat pedestals, best ride on the water. Online at waveproshock.com.
So hey, next stop of the day, we've got the Traverse City region. We got a couple of reports here in this region as well. We actually probably could talk about three things, but we talked about Lake Leelanau last week, so we'll stick with deepwater bassin. That's going on right now on the bays. Captain Tony from Up North Smallmouth Charters tells us that his drop shot presentation in deep water, we're talking 30 to 50 feet of water, has been producing awesome numbers of really high quality smallmouth. A lot of 3 and 4 pound fish are being caught, plus a lot of numbers of fish are being caught. So if you've never drop shotted in the summer, this is a very cool way to fish, and it's something you should try. If once you learn how to fish this way, you'll not only be a better fisherman, but you'll probably start fishing a couple of 2-3 times a year up in that northern Michigan region, that Traverse City area, for these awesome fish. Because boy, they set up, and they set up in numbers in that deep water. They're usually feeding on gobies, and that's why that drop shot presentation works so well. Now, another bite that's going on right now, Captain Dave Rommel from Tiny Bubble Sport Fishing tells me that he's starting to see the first filterings in of some really big king salmon. And that happens every year at this time. From now to the end of the season, the Frankfort area will have some really big king salmon, and it will also load up with coho salmon. So that combination, and steelhead is also really good in the month of August. So that triple header of coho, steelhead, and big kings is going to keep you busy. If you're looking for an awesome captain up there, Dave Rommel from Tiny Bubbles Charters is an awesome guy, been on the water for decades, knows that system tremendously well, and he can put you and your family on an awesome outing. Plus, Frankfort is a gorgeous little town. If you've never been to Frankfort, that's one of those bucket list towns here in northern Michigan you gotta visit. It's got all kinds of cool eclectic shops. It's got a gorgeous scenery. It's got beaches that are second to none, great hiking and biking trails, and awesome eateries as well. So check Frankfort out, as well as checking out a half a day out on the big water with Captain Dave from Tiny Bubbles.
When the tournament's on the line, the top teams turn to Dreamweaver lures, spoons, plugs, flies, meat rigs, and the Great Lakes' favorite rotator, the Dreamweaver Spin Doctor. Dreamweaver has what you need to hook up with the biggest fish and more of them. Use what the pros use and add Dreamweaver lures to your arsenal. Check out the latest colors and the full Dreamweaver line at dreamweaverlures.com.
So it seems like the epicenter of Michigan this last weekend is the Ludington area. Now that's pretty normal for this time of year because, to be honest, Ludington to Manistee, that little strip of Lake Michigan real estate, is always lights out in the month of August. Well, it got a lot more lights outish, if you will, as last week on a charter, a young man boated a 47-pound plus king salmon, smashing the existing world state record that had been in place since 1978. This was an old record. That is one ginormous fish. You're going to see a picture of it going across the screen here. Folks up at Captain Chuck's got the pleasure of weighing it in. Jay Wesley from the DNR verified the weight, and sure enough, it was a state record, and that is awesome for that young man. But what's also awesome is you hear us talk every week about going out and having a charter experience with these professionals. That right there is the perfect example of how it's just the next guy up on the rod. At any time, that could be a state record fish. These charter captains put their clients out there on the water, and Captain Adam from Hiatus Sport Fishing, he ran into a little bit of bad luck. He's always sending us great reports, but he had a little engine mishap earlier this year, took him off the water, but Adam's back on the water. He's back on it when you need it the most right now, from now to the end of the season. So Ludington is happening. I know my friend Captain Eric Long from Longline Sport Fishing is going to spend a week in Ludington, mostly just because he loves to fish there so much this time of the year. Now up in Manistee, we got Blue Collar Guide Service. They're also out, and they're offering something very different, and that's why we're going to talk about it. The Manistee region has the Manistee Lake that is in between the big lake and the main river. And in Manistee Lake, they do a real unique presentation, very similar to down in Ludington at PM Lake, where you're able to spot lock and jig these lake trout. I mean, these, not just lake trout, but these king salmon. These king salmon will come flooding through to go do their spawning runs in the Pure Marquette and the Manistee River systems. Well, when they come through, they're still eating. And I'm telling you what, if you've never hooked into a rod in hand, bass style rod equipment to a 20, 30 pound king salmon, well, let me tell you, you've got to give that a try. The guys over at Blue Collar can put you on that bite. He specializes in that bite for about a month of the year. Here in the second half of August and the first half of September, that bite can be lights out. And I'm telling you what, again, if you have never hooked into a king salmon with a bass style equipment in your hand, you are in for a fight. And once you do it, you'll be completely addicted and hooked to doing it that way. I mean, trolling's great, don't get me wrong, but I'm telling you what, jig fishing for kings and lakers, that's the new rage coming. And we're going to talk about that this fall all the way to ice up, as once the kings are done, those lakers are going to be coming in, and we are going to be able to catch them on typical bass equipment. So Ludington to Manistee right now for the next 4 weeks, you will hear us talking about it because it is going to be stellar.
Hey, Jeff Miller here with Traxstech today, just going over and explaining what we've done on our MT60 and MT72. That's our 5 and 6 foot long tracks. We used to get a lot of requests for custom tracks where we actually machine out the inside of the lip of our track so that guys didn't have to have a long track on their boat and feed everything in from each end. So we just started making it standard here about a year and a half ago on there now, so it's super easy. And the beautiful thing is I can load my trees, my downriggers, I can keep my end caps on my tracks, I can drop all my gear right inside the track, slide it in wherever I want to go. And the beauty of it is we're really not losing any room in the track, because with the strength of the track is all gained out of the lips right here, I can slide a rod holder, still be halfway in, halfway out of that slot right there, and that thing is not coming out of there. So you still really didn't lose anything, but you got all the benefits and features by putting our longer 5 and 6 foot track on the boat, of the security standing inside the boat and being able to slide all my gear forward or backward wherever I want to go, take my gear off the boat, put it away nice and easy, and I don't have to worry about anything. So that's just a benefit feature in our 5 and 6 foot tracks that are now standard on everything. When you order a track, that is what you're going to get.
Hey, last stop of the day. Yup, it's another Lake Michigan port, but you got to do it, because I'm telling you what, Mark Rapson, same thing as Adam from Hiatus, is telling me, and you saw it just a few weeks ago here on our video fishing report, where we went out and caught, you know, a monster catch of king salmon. Well, the king salmon are still biting regularly there out in front of the Port of Holland. Mark is catching those fish, you know, in numbers each trip out. I know some other guys, TJ has been doing really well as well. I've been watching their posts out of the Holland region, and we just had to go back and talk about it. Guys, if you're on your own boats, just put a spread of flies and meat and Magnum spoons out. That's all you need. Just put a spread of those 3 baits out and you will hook into these kinks. Now the cool thing about the Holland area, and we talked about Ludington Manistee previous, is that as these fish get closer each week to when they run up the rivers, these fish will press up against the pier heads, which means those fish are going to be very able to be caught by small boats on nice weather days, because you don't have to run very far at all. I mean, a lot of times you're just going out of the pier head and literally setting your rods. And they're starting 4-wheelers here at Nelson's, and that's just part of the deal when you do an on-site at Nelson Speed Shop. But they're setting their rods literally as soon as they get out of the pier heads and just taking an out troll either way. Those fish can be pressed up. If you get a little bit of a northwest wind, those fish can be right on those pier heads, literally right on them. In a couple weeks from now, they'll be right on them because they're running up the rivers. So get Holland, get Ludington, get Manistee on your list. Get out there in your boat, put a spread of Dreamweaver spin doctors and some flies, some meat rigs, or some mag spoons out, and have a great time. Hey guys, John Bergsma here. Hey, like we said at the top of the show, we're here at Nelson Speed Shop, north of Greenville. We're here with Derek, and we're going to talk just a little bit about snow motion. Now, this is a massive event. I grew up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. If you're from Grand Rapids, Derek, you know what snow motion is.
You better. If you don't, you've heard about it.
Right. You don't know anything about snowmobiles, ATVs. Machines are just a lot of fun unless you've been to snow motion. So this year's snow motion, there's going to be some questions. I've heard a lot of people asking me, similar to boats, you know, what is the supplies going to be like? And you and I have chatted that it's really not about whether you've got that model sitting on the lot at the end of August or not, is it?
That's really not. I mean, as we sit right now, it's first come, first serve. Get your hands on stuff.
And you've got stuff here to sell.
We do. And if we don't, it's, you know, get there before the next guy and get it ordered for 2022. It's going to come a lot quicker than, you know, waiting until. And
exactly.
Then worrying about supply chain stuff and whatnot.
You know, and we had that with the boats, guys. I mean, anybody who watches my show consistently knows what an absolute pulling teeth getting a boat is right now.
It really has.
It's no different in the ATV snowmobile market, is it?
No, it's the same thing in terms of production, widgets, small things, motors. Yep. Everything is, it's like that.
Anything that has a microchip in it, it seems like is delayed.
Yes, it is. And it's not even necessarily that. It's something for one thing to build another thing.
One little part, yeah, we had that with some manufacturer telling me they had a little itty bitty plastic part that the entire boat couldn't function without.
It's absolutely true.
And it sits right there. So guys, when it comes to snow motion, the best thing you can do is, number one, get yourself here. It's an awesome fun weekend. You got food, you got all kinds of stuff going on.
It'll be our 36th annual snow motion event. So if you're not familiar with any of that, the snow stuff, it's actually kind of a cool event.
It is.
We essentially kick off the snow season for the whole Midwest. So really, the whole U.S. I mean, you think about
grass
the
drags, all the normal stuff.
This year we're SJO Productions is putting grass drags on. We're doing a swap meet, and then they're doing their SJO motocross stuff. So the last one we did, we had almost 300 riders. So it's a fun time for the little tykes and for, you know, family and stuff too.
Exactly. And so the other thing is it gets you back into that kind of circulation after a year off. You know, we've got the store here. These guys are unboxing and assembling product as we speak, getting all the supply ready for Snow Motion 2021. So get on down here to Nelson Speed Shop in Greenville. What are the dates again? Friday and Saturday, the 27th
27th and 28th of August.
Yep. When does it start in the morning? When does it end?
It typically will start at 10 o'clock time. Okay. And then it runs until, I believe, 6 on Friday and then 4 on Saturday.
Awesome. So get down here, Nelson Speed Shop, just north of Greenville, Michigan. Outdoor activities all weekend long. Your chance to get your hands on an ATV, a snowmobile, a bike, you name it. They've got supply here. It won't last long. And if it's not there when you come, get your name on a new one. We'll see you there at this year's Snow Motion here at Nelson's in Greenville.